To catch the legendary fire phoenix, a man spread a handful of nuts across the desert. But then the dark sand suddenly lit up with an eerie glow. That's when a golden phoenix, its body wrapped in flames, appeared. The fire phoenix spotted the nuts on the ground. It stretched out a tiny claw and picked one up with surprising grace. Then it tossed the nut high into the air, opened its beak and swallowed it in one go. The phoenix was clearly pleased after eating that nut, but what it didn't know was that the nuts had been laced with sleeping pills. The man, John, was simply waiting for the drug to kick in. Once it did, the phoenix would fall asleep, and then he could finally capture this rare creature. Soon enough, the phoenix started to feel dizzy. Moments later, it collapsed onto the ground. Seeing the phoenix was out cold, John excitedly pulled out his tools, ready to make his move. But just then, a claw engulfed in flame suddenly reached toward him. John froze in place instantly. Once he snapped out of it, he quickly spun around, only to find the fire phoenix standing right in front of him. John ran for his life with everything he had, but the fire phoenix was hot on his heels. Just as it was about to catch up, a little horse charged out at the last second. It slammed right into the phoenix, knocking it aside, and that collision only made the phoenix furious. The creature unleashed its ultimate move, cutting off the frantic little horse in its tracks. Right when the fire phoenix was about to finish it off, it noticed a single nut lying underneath the board. So the phoenix immediately let the little horse go. It lowered its head, ready to eat that nut. But then a tiny squirrel suddenly appeared and snatched it away. Just like that, the phoenix was left with nothing. Seeing the nut had vanished into thin air, the phoenix was convinced John had taken it. So it went after him with full force. Everything in its path instantly turned into a sea of flames. Soon John was backed into a corner by the fire phoenix. Then the phoenix extended its little claw, signaling for the man to hand over the last nut. John had no choice but to toss the nut out. The phoenix caught it in one swift move, flung it into the air and swallowed it whole. But then the sleeping pill started to take effect. The phoenix passed out and tumbled into the lake. All the flames on its body were extinguished. By the next morning, John had the phoenix tied up with iron mesh. When it realized John was taking it back to the palace, the phoenix shed a sorrowful tear, and that single burning hot tear shocked John to his core. Looking at the phoenix barely clinging to life, John's heart finally softened. He yanked off the heavy restraints in one pull. Freed from the iron mesh, the phoenix began to heat up rapidly. In no time, flames blazed all over its body once more. It was fully revived. Before leaving, the phoenix wanted to thank John for letting it go. It left behind a feather glowing with rainbow light as a token of gratitude. But because John had disobeyed the king's order and failed to bring back the phoenix, the king sent him straight to the guillotine. John quickly explained that he had actually caught the phoenix. He just chose to set it free. Once he said that, the whole crowd erupted in disbelief. Seeing that no one believed him, John hurriedly pulled out the feather the phoenix had given him. But by then, the feather looked dull and twisted, like a piece of scrap metal. So the king immediately ordered John to be executed in public. Yet just then, the once lifeless feather suddenly burst into flames.